Hello traders, welcome back to this video. It's another day to do our top down analysis, and today I have Euro USD as my first pair. So on Euro USD, we have been expecting price to form a bearish move to the downside because if you come into the daily time frame, we have some good downtrend structures. So price was making a break of structures. As you have been watching my videos, we have some beautiful break of structures to the upside, and then later on price tapped into this monthly order block, which I've been showing you guys. So price came into this monthly order block and mitigated that point of interest, and then formed a very good change of character here. And then now we expect price to show us some bearish structures to the downside, and then we look for our selling opportunities to the downside. So currently right now price formed this recent break of structure, and as always we expect price to have a pullback at least into a 50% level before we look for a continuation entry to the downside. So we have this area here as our 50% level, and currently price is approaching that point of interest, and if we want to have a confirmation from this point of interest that is around the 50% level, we want to see a change of character to the downside. Remember, I've been telling you guys that the types of change of characters we have. Number one, we have this kind of change of character. We have this change of character which the market always forms. For example, this is when the market is reversing from a bearish trend to an uptrend, and then when the market is reversing from an uptrend to a downtrend, we see something like this. Price clears that low that formed a break of structure to the upside, and then we have the market shifting structure to the downside. And then we have another one down here. So let me clear this. We have another type of change of character whereby we need to see price sweeping some liquidity. For example, price moves up to lure early buyers from taking their trades from this point here, and then later on price takes them out, and then we have now the change of character here to the upside, and you wait for a pullback into, let's say, maybe a fair value gap, and then you take your trade to the upside. So this is where it gets tricky, and most of the traders are always trapped at this when the price is always forming this structure. So the price will use this break to the upside as a sweep of liquidity, and then price will go down to clear this low to form a valid break of structure to the downside. And once the high that forms that break of structure to the downside is cleared out, we have our change of character. So once the price clears that high, we have the change of character to the upside, and then you wait for price to come into a 50% level, or let's say maybe a fair value gap, and then you take a buy to the upside. So how do you know that price will be taking this low once again as a break of structure, or taking up this high and going down to break a structure? Uh, Most of the time when I try to look for a confirmation, I always want to see price tapping into my point of interest, and then I need to see an aggressive move. I need to see price moving aggressively and having those fair value gaps. But when this moves, the move is occurring from this point to this high. Once you see that the price is struggling to go above the high, you just know that this low has a high probability of being used as a liquidity. So on the other side, from this low to this high, price should be moving aggressively, leaving behind some fair value gaps, and then now you will confirm that the market is communicating to you that buyers are present. So that is another type of confirmation which I like. I really like that type of confirmation. And then we have another one. For example, so in this case here, I don't know how to draw it, but this is in form of a sweep of liquidity. Let us just assume this is not a candle closing below. It is a sweep of liquidity above this low, below this low, and then price goes above and breaks this high. So that is another type of change of character, and then the price pulls back into the fair value gap. Make sure you have the price moving aggressively, communicate to you that buyers are present in the market. And then you take your trade from the 50% level, the target that you want to be looking out for. So all these types of change of character, we always expect them to occur once price taps into a point of interest. For example, you have marked your order block, or let's say maybe even if it is a support and resistance level, and then you want to trade the support and resistance level, you must confirm the change of character from once the price reacts from a very good point of interest that you have marked. So always try to use, for those who have always asked me about the change of characters that I use, these are the types of change of characters that I use, and they always have to come from a point of interest, not anywhere in the market. So let us go back to our analysis. So we have this point of interest here, which I'm anticipating to see even if the price will be giving us a very good confirmation, and then we look for our selling opportunities to the downside. So we have the price coming back. Price is not yet tapped into the 50% level, but price has already tapped into this daily order block. So if we don't have any confirmation, we wait for this extreme area. We have this extreme point of interest up here that can also be used as our point of interest in this scenario. So we have to wait for price to have a confirmation in the lower time frame. So if we drop down into the 4-hour time frame, you can see this is the last break here to the upside to form a new break of structure. And if I want to see the market forming a change of character, I need to have a very good aggressive move to the downside. So we have that high being taken out to form a new break of structure. So let me mark it. After that break of structure, we need to see the low that formed that break of structure being taken out to confirm our new change of character. So once price takes out this low, and then we wait for a pullback, we look to take ourselves to the downside. So once you don't have that, you are not sure that price has formed a valid change of character, you can wait for a pullback inside the fair value gap, and then wait for another change of character to form, and then you take your sell to the downside. So as simple as that, that is how I look for my confirmations. So the price has already tapped into the daily order block, and if we want to take our selling opportunities from that area, we need to see our change of character, and then we look for our sells to the downside from that area. And then now we can target the extreme, the external structure that the market formed down here. So that is what I anticipate on Euro USD. If we don't have any confirmation from this area, wait for price to come into this extreme point of interest, then we look to sell to the downside. So that is it for Euro USD, guys. I have another pair. I have NAS 100. So on NAS 100, we have been having some massive movement from this order block down here, the daily order block. Price reacted very well, aggressively, and we had this fair value gap from our last analysis that I have been analyzing for you guys. And then price came into that fair value gap. You can see the space in between this first candle and this third candle here. So that was the fair value gap. Is tapped into the fair value gap, and then we have this massive reaction to the upside. And then to add on it, we have a very good support and resistance level that I marked for you guys. Price reacted from this support and resistance above here, came down, and then reacted from this support that is down here, and then we have this massive move to the upside. So currently right now we expect price to be clearing out this high. We expect a break above this support and resistance level, and then we wait for a pullback, and then we continue buying the upside. I think price is looking towards taking out this external liquidity because of this aggressive move from this point of interest. So currently right now, let us look for buys on NAS 100. I have this daily order block that I don't think the price will be leaving behind that order block that way. So I expect a pullback into this area, and then we continue buying from that daily order block. If I drop into the 4-hour time frame, that is the daily order block. You can see a very big order block, but we can't take any random trade from that area without having a confirmation. So we also have a very good 1-hour order block at that point here. And then I think this area here will be mitigated, and then the market will be using this order block as a liquidity, because we expect price to tap into the daily order block, and then we have a move to the upside. And if I drop even lower, we can see that there is a market structure that is being formed inside this lower time frame. We had this price moving back down, and then we have price breaking above this point. We had the price having this move down, a pullback, a break to the downside here. We have this break. Then right now the price has taken out that high that formed that break, meaning we have a change of character to the upside in the lower time frame. And then we also have this unmitigated order block in the 5 minutes time frame. So currently, right now, I expect price to be dropping down and try to mitigate this point of interest. We also have these liquidities just above that area. I think it is like a trend line liquidity. We have this low, and this low that the market is forming. Then now, if we have to take a trade from that point of interest, we have to target this high as our first profit. So if price will be, if on Monday we have the pullback into this area, this is the best point of interest to be looking for your buying opportunities from this low down here. Stop loss below the order block that we have. Then we target this high as our first take profit, and then we also continue looking for those buys into this extreme, into that external structure. That is what I expect on NAS 100, guys. That is what I think the price will be doing, because remember, in the daily time frame, that is where the order block is. So if I can mark this order block, I expect price to pull back, mitigate this order block, and then we continue taking our buys to the upside. So I'm currently watching out for this area, for this order block down here. I want to see price tapping into that point of interest, and then we take our buys from that area to the upside. So that is it, guys, on my what I anticipate on NAS 100. If you have a different opinion, you just comment down below the comment section. So we have a very good type of change of character that the market formed here. You can see clearly once the market tapped into that support and resistance level, and then price took out that low as a change of character. We didn't have a pullback, and therefore if we have a reaction from this point here to the downside, we need to see a change of character from that high to the downside. That is if the market is going to respect if the market is going to respect that support and resistance once again. So that is why it is always advisable to try and adjust. If the market goes against us, we just adjust, and then we look for any opportunity that is going to be that the market is going to give us. So I also have XAUUSD. Also have XAUUSD, guys. So on XAUUSD, we have been very bullish. The market opened at this point here, and all of that last week we had have been seeing some aggressive buying opportunities to the upside. I have been having some losses on XAUUSD this week. This week, personally, I didn't make some good profit on XAUUSD. I've been hitting my stop losses on XAUUSD. I was expecting price to react from this area, and I was looking for my selling opportunities from that area. So right now, I think price is having a pullback, and I think the best area for me to wait for some selling opportunities is from the 50% level of this structure to the downside. Have a very beautiful break of structure here. Remember, when price formed this break of structure, we had a pullback into this 50% level. See clearly, if I mark the Fibonacci retracement tool, price came into a 50% level, mitigated a very good fair value gap, and then we have been having that selling the downside. And then right now we have this structure from this high that formed this break of structure to this low. We mark our fib level, and this is our 50% level. Then now what I expect, we have this order block here, which is at that 50% level, and that is where I expect the market to be reacting from, and then we take our sales to the downside. So as simple as that, that is where I want to be looking for my selling opportunities. And then this is an internal structure whereby I want to see price taking out that high as a liquidity. So I expect price to take out that point as a liquidity, tap into this area, look for a very good change of character from that point inside the lower time frame, and then we look to take our sales to the downside. And therefore, if we have our sales from that area, we target this external liquidity. So that is it, guys. And then inside the daily time frame, if we want to take some buys from this area to the upside, this is the best area. We have this daily order block. Therefore, I expect price to pull back a little bit, mitigate this order block. And if the market won't come back down there, we just continue looking for our buys to the upside. Then, as you can see, this daily order block that we have marked on that high, this is a break above, and then we expect a retest into this area, and then we take our buy the upside. So currently, right now, I expect the price to come back down. We have also this fair value gap. That will be a very good influence to add this analysis. That is a fair value gap. As we wait for price to come down into this fair value gap, mitigate this fair value gap, and then we take our buys to the upside. So let me delete this. Inside the 1 hour time frame, you can see that we have a very good 1 hour order block as well. So let me use this fair value gap and try to minimize my point of interest, and that will be a 1 hour order block that we have at that fair value gap. So let us wait for price to retest this support and resistance level that we have here. If we can extend from this area here, you can see that is our support and resistance level. We wait for price to come back down here. It's in a form of a breaker block, and then we look to take our buys the upside. So that will be my best point of interest unless price wants to come even lower into these areas. We also have another order block down here. But as of now, I expect price to be dropping into this area, the first point of interest, the first fair value gap. And then we take our buys from that area. We look to take our buys from that area. And then we target the external liquidity. But I think the market will be opening in the gap, the upside, and then we see a pullback coming back down to this area. So that is my view, guys. I expect price to come into this point, and then we target that liquidity as we continue targeting that daily order block. So currently, that is what I think on gold, guys. If you have a different opinion, just don't forget to comment down below the comment section. So I also have another pair. I also have silver as my next pair. So let us go through US 30 first before we go to silver. So on US 30, because we had already done a very good analysis last week, price is looking like it is having a pullback, and I expect a pullback to come back down, and price should be looking to try and come and fill in this fair value gap that we have down here. We also have this massive fair value gap which price is already tapping into. And then if I drop into the 4 hour time frame, we need to look for more buys to the upside, and therefore it is not advisable to look for a selling opportunity. So we also have this breaker block that price took out, and then we also had a massive move to the upside. So the first point of interest I want to see some reaction from is from this breaker block that we have. We have this beautiful breaker block. So that will be my first point of interest, and that is where I'll be watching to see if price will be reacting from that point, and then we look to take our buys from that area to the upside. So my analysis on US 30 still remains the same. want to see price dropping back down, and then our first target will be at that external liquidity. But if price will be dropping even lower, just know that price is coming for this fair value gap that we have here. Then we also have this area here from this high to this low as our last order flow that was unmitigated. So be very careful when trying to take a trade from this point, because I think price will be coming down and try to mitigate this area down here, and also try to fill in this fair value gap. So that is what I think on NAS 100, guys. If we don't have our confirmation from this point, we simply wait for this low. So if we have a confirmation, well and good, we can take our buys from this point to the external liquidity. But if we just have a reaction and then later on price takes out that area, we wait for a confirmation from this area, whereby we have our order flow from this high to this low. And then we also have that daily fair value gap. So price, we can also react from that point, and then we look to take our buys from that area there, and then stop loss below maybe that fair value gap, and then we target the external liquidity. So that is what I think on US 30, guys. So if you have a different opinion, just comment down below the comment section, and if I have any update, I'll be updating you guys. So next I have silver, which is bullish as well, the same as gold. And on silver, after forming this break here to the downside, we have been expecting price to have a pullback, and we have this as our first point of interest that I have been watching out for. And then price has already taken out this high here as a sweep of liquidity, as a liquidity area. But I can see price is breaking above that point. So that means that this order block here can fail to hold price uh, and try to push price to the downside. But we need to still look for a confirmation if price will be reacting from this point, and then we take our sales to the downside. So if I would want to take my selling opportunities, I want to see price clearing this low. Have this low down here. Let me go back into the 4-hour time frame. You can see that low. So if I want to take my sales, I want to see price clearing that low. But I think price will be moving up, and then we look to see if price will be having a confirmation. Need to see at least a sweep of liquidity, because most of the time price tries to look for a sweep of liquidity inside the point of interest before having a reaction to the downside. So on silver right now, what I need you guys to do is that we wait to see if price will be taking out this low, and then we have our change of character to the downside, meaning that price is willing to move to the external liquidity. So that is our external liquidity. This is clearly bearish. As you can see, we have been having some bearish move to the downside. And right now we have approached this point of interest, and if price will be taking out that point of interest, let us wait for price to come up to this area here. So we had this break here to the downside, and if price will be having that 50% pullback, so that is the break. If price will have that 50% pullback, we expect price to come up to the 50% level, and then we look to take our selling opportunities. We also have a very good daily order block at that point. So let me clear the 50% level. That is our order block. So that means if price fails to take out this, fails to react from this order block, we wait for price up to this area, and then we look to take our sales from that point. Stop loss above our order block, that is after our confirmation, and then we take our sales the external liquidity. And then if we have a confirmation from this area here, guys, if we have a very good confirmation from this 4-hour time frame, if price clears this low, we wait for price to pull back into a point of interest, and then we take our sales from that area to the downside. So those are my views on NAS 100, guys. That is what I think. That is what I'm anticipating the market will be doing. And if we have an opportunity, I'll be updating updating you guys on this channel. So that is why I always tell you, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss on any analysis that we do on this channel.